Every single person has a hidden power inside them, a strength that once discovered can completely change the direction of their life. Most people go through their days unaware of how much potential they carry, thinking success is meant for someone else. But the truth is, the ability to create, to rise, to overcome, and to achieve anything you desire already exists within you. It's not about luck, talent, or opportunity. It's about unlocking what's already there. This audiobook, The Law of Success: Unlock Your Hidden Power to Achieve Anything, is designed to guide you step by step toward that discovery. Think about how many times you've said, "I know I'm capable of more." You feel that push inside you, that quiet voice that says you're not meant to live small. That's not imagination, that's your inner power asking to be awakened. The purpose of this journey is to help you break through the doubts, fears, and habits that hold you back, and show you how to turn your thoughts into real action, your dreams into clear goals, and your struggles into strength. This isn't just another motivational message, it's a practical guide to transformation. As you listen, you'll learn how to build unshakable self-discipline, develop a resilient mindset, turn negativity into fuel for progress, and surround yourself with the kind of energy that helps you grow. You'll understand why failure is not the end, but a doorway to becoming stronger. You'll discover how gratitude shifts your entire experience of life, how personal growth matters more than anyone's opinion, and how living each day with purpose can inspire lasting change, not only in your world, but in the lives of others around you. Each chapter is crafted to speak directly to your reality. The daily challenges, the moments of doubt, and the times when you've questioned if success was still possible. You won't find complicated theories or abstract ideas here. Instead, you'll hear clear, practical truths that you can apply immediately. You'll learn how to think, act, and move in a way that aligns with who you truly are, not who the world expects you to be. So as you begin this journey, take a moment and breathe. Let go of everything you think you know about success for a while. What you're about to hear isn't about chasing someone else's version of achievement. It's about awakening your own power and using it to create a life that feels right for you. By the end of this audiobook, you'll not only understand what it takes to succeed, you'll feel a deep, steady confidence that success is already within your reach. Stay with this message until the very end, because somewhere in these words, you'll find the key that unlocks your strength, your vision, and your unstoppable potential. The life you want isn't far away. It begins the moment you decide to listen, learn, and act on what you already have. The power within you. Chapter 1: Awaken your inner strength and take control of life. Every human being carries within them a quiet strength that waits to be discovered. It is not found in possessions, achievements, or the praise of others. It lives in the space between thoughts, in the choices made during difficult moments, and in the calm that follows when you decide not to give up. The world often teaches people to seek power outside themselves through status, wealth, or recognition, but the truth is that real power begins within. The moment a person realizes that their thoughts, emotions, and actions are within their control, their life begins to change. That realization is the awakening of inner strength, and it is the foundation of all success. Taking control of life does not mean controlling every event that happens. It means mastering your response to life's events, no matter how unpredictable or unfair they may seem. Every challenge, every disappointment, every moment of doubt is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more centered. When a person learns to see struggle not as punishment, but as training, life starts to shift in their favor. Strength is not built in comfort. It is built in resistance, in the quiet decisions made when no one is watching, and in the moments when fear whispers that you cannot continue, but you keep going anyway. Inner strength is not something you are born with. It is something you build, choice by choice. It starts with self-awareness, because you cannot control what you do not understand. Many people drift through life reacting to circumstances, allowing emotions to lead them rather than reason. They let anger, insecurity, or fear dictate their direction, and as a result they lose their sense of control. To awaken inner strength, one must become conscious of the inner dialogue that shapes every decision. Pay attention to what you say to yourself in silence. That voice determines whether you rise or remain still. When that voice becomes disciplined, encouraging, and focused, it becomes your greatest ally. Taking control begins by accepting complete responsibility for your life. As long as you blame others, you remain powerless. When you take ownership of your thoughts, your actions, and your results, you unlock a kind of power that cannot be taken away. Responsibility is not about guilt, it is about freedom. The person who takes responsibility is free to change, free to grow, free to rebuild. The one who blames others is chained to the same cycle of frustration. You cannot change what you refuse to claim. The moment you accept that your happiness, your growth, and your peace depend on you, you take your first true step toward mastery. Every day offers a choice: react or respond. Reaction is automatic, it's driven by emotion. Response is deliberate, it's guided by awareness. Inner strength allows you to respond rather than react. It gives you the patience to pause before speaking, the discipline to act with purpose, and the wisdom to remain calm when others lose control. Life will test your ability to do this. People will provoke you, circumstances will frustrate you, and fear will whisper doubts into your mind. But when you build the habit of responding with strength, rather than weakness, you begin to shape your destiny. Discipline is the fuel of inner strength. Without it, motivation fades and promises to yourself lose meaning. Discipline is what makes you rise early when comfort tells you to sleep. It is what keeps you focused when distraction pulls your attention in 100 directions. It is not about perfection, it is about persistence. Inner strength grows every time you do what is right, even when it is hard. Each small act of discipline builds confidence, and that confidence becomes a shield against the chaos of life. Self-control is another pillar of strength. It means managing emotions instead of letting emotions manage you. It is the ability to stay composed when anger rises, to stay hopeful when fear grows, and to stay patient when results take time. People often think self-control is suppression, but it is not. It is mastery. It means choosing your reaction consciously instead of letting impulses run your life. When you master your emotions, you no longer become a slave to external circumstances. You learn that peace is not found in the absence of problems, but in the presence of balance. Inner strength also requires mental toughness, the ability to remain steady in the face of adversity. Toughness does not mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It means standing firm even when life feels heavy. It means holding your ground when your mind tells you to quit. Every time you overcome an obstacle, you send a message to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. That message becomes the foundation of resilience. When you begin to trust your ability to endure, fear loses its power over you. To truly take control of life, you must align your actions with your values. Many people feel lost because their daily behavior contradicts what they say they want. They speak of peace, but engage in conflict, desire success but waste time, want respect but neglect discipline. Real control comes from living in harmony with what you believe. Ask yourself what truly matters. Define your values clearly and live by them, even when it is inconvenient. Integrity is the ultimate form of strength because it keeps you aligned with your purpose. Another step toward inner mastery is learning to quiet the noise of the world. Modern life is filled with constant distraction, news, opinions, and comparison. These things weaken your focus and drain your energy. When your attention is scattered, you lose power. The strongest minds are calm and centered. They do not chase every thought or react to every emotion. They stay rooted in purpose. Spend time alone in silence. Reflect on your thoughts. Reconnect with your goals. When you make silence a daily practice, you begin to hear your own voice again. The voice of reason, clarity, and truth. Taking control of life also means setting boundaries. You cannot grow if you allow others to control your time, your emotions, or your direction. Learn to say no without guilt. Protect your energy from negativity. and unnecessary conflict. The people you surround yourself with influence your thoughts and habits more than you realize. If you want strength, spend time with those who challenge you to rise higher, not those who pull you down. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters that protect your peace. Fear often stands in the way of personal power. It tells you that you are not ready, not capable, or not worthy. But fear is nothing more than a signal. It tells you where your growth lies. The things you avoid often hold the lessons you need most. Facing fear is not about feeling brave all the time. It is about acting even when you are afraid. Each time you confront fear, it shrinks. Each time you avoid it, it grows. Courage is built by consistent action, not by waiting for confidence to appear. You become strong by doing what scares you until it no longer does. Another aspect of awakening strength is learning to detach from outcomes. You cannot control every result, but you can control your effort. When you focus too much on results, you become anxious and reactive. When you focus on your actions, you stay empowered. Success is not achieved by obsessing over the finish line. It is built by showing up fully for each step. Do your best in every moment, and let the results take care of themselves. That is how inner peace and outer success align. One of the greatest shifts happens when you realize that your thoughts create your emotional reality. Every emotion you feel begins with a thought. If you want to change how you feel, you must change how you think. Negative thinking drains your strength. Positive thinking restores it. But positivity is not pretending that everything is perfect. It is choosing to focus on what you can do, rather than what you can. It is recognizing that challenges are temporary, but your ability to overcome them is permanent. Forgiveness is also an act of strength. Carrying resentment or anger toward others weakens the spirit. When you forgive, you free yourself. It does not mean excusing harmful behavior. It means refusing to let that behavior control your peace any longer. Forgiveness is not about them. It is about reclaiming your energy. When you release bitterness, you create space for clarity and calm. Strength is not found in holding on. It is found in letting go.
To awaken your inner strength, you must learn the art of perseverance. Life will not always go according to plan. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and seasons of uncertainty. But those who persist always find a way forward. Perseverance is not blind stubbornness. It is intelligent endurance. It means learning from every obstacle, adjusting your approach, and continuing despite discomfort. Every great success story is built on persistence through failure. Those who endure become unstoppable. Gratitude plays a vital role in inner strength as well. When you focus on what is missing, you feel weak and dissatisfied. When you appreciate what you have, you feel abundant and capable. Gratitude shifts your mindset from scarcity to empowerment. It reminds you that even in difficulty, there are lessons and blessings. Each morning, reflect on something you are thankful for. This practice grounds your mind in peace and trains you to see opportunity in every situation. Taking control of life also means managing your environment, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Your surroundings shape your habits. A cluttered space often reflects a cluttered mind. Simplify your environment. Remove what no longer serves you. Create a space that reflects clarity and intention. Similarly, cleanse your mental environment. Avoid consuming negativity, whether through media, gossip, or self-doubt. Replace it with content that nourishes your growth. The more intentional your environment, the more control you have over your mindset. Inner strength grows through daily action. You cannot think your way into power. You must act your way into it. Each time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you build self-trust. Each time you resist temptation and stay committed to your path, you strengthen your character. Over time, these small victories accumulate into unshakable confidence. Success is not one grand event. It is the sum of disciplined moments stacked together over time. Self-respect is the final layer of true strength. It is knowing your worth without needing validation. It is standing firm in your principles, even when others disagree. It is choosing dignity over approval. When you respect yourself, you naturally attract respect from others. Self-respect comes from living with honesty, consistency, and accountability. When your actions align with your values, you become powerful beyond measure. Life will always present uncertainty, but the person who possesses inner strength does not fear it. They face each day with calm determination, knowing that whatever happens, they will respond with wisdom and courage. They understand that real control is not about predicting the future, it is about mastering the present moment. Strength is not loud or aggressive, it is steady, grounded and unbreakable. It is built quietly through discipline, reflection and conscious choice. Awakening your inner strength and taking control of life is not a single event, it is a lifelong practice. It is about waking up each morning and choosing discipline over comfort, clarity over confusion, and responsibility over blame. It is about remembering that no one can save you except yourself. You are the architect of your destiny, and every day is a new opportunity to design it with intention. The process will not always be easy. There will be days when you question your ability, moments when progress feels slow, and times when you want to give up. But those are the moments that define you. Strength is not found in ease, it is found in endurance. Each challenge you overcome becomes a stone in the foundation of your power. The more you build, the stronger you stand. When you decide to stop waiting for the world to change and instead focus on changing yourself, life begins to shift. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become a creator of circumstance. You stop fearing the unknown and start trusting your ability to adapt. You stop wishing for an easier path and start becoming a stronger traveler. That is what it means to awaken your inner strength, to live from the inside out, anchored in clarity, discipline and purpose. In the end, success is not about control over others or luck in life's outcomes. It is about mastery over yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your habits and your choices. When you reach that level of inner mastery, nothing external can truly disturb your peace. You become calm amid chaos, confident amid doubt, and unshaken amid change. That is the essence of real power. So awaken that strength within you. Take control of your mind, your habits, your direction. Decide that your life will be shaped not by fear, but by discipline, not by chance, but by choice. The power you seek has always been inside you. It only needed your attention to come alive. From this moment forward, walk as someone who owns their life completely. No excuses, no hesitation, no surrender, only growth, purpose and quiet, unshakable strength. Chapter 2. Set clear goals and commit to daily progress. The direction of your life changes the moment you decide exactly what you want and refuse to stop until it becomes real. People wander for years, searching for meaning, but clarity gives direction, and direction gives power. Without a clear destination, even the most motivated person drifts. Success doesn't belong to the one who works the hardest. It belongs to the one who knows where they are going and moves forward with steady, deliberate steps every single day. When you set clear goals and commit to daily progress, you turn hope into action and potential into reality. A goal is more than a wish. It is a commitment to shape your future with purpose. Many people confuse dreams with goals. Dreams live in imagination. Goals live in action. Dreams feel good to think about, but goals demand structure. They ask you to define what you want, why it matters, and how you'll get there. A clear goal has direction, measurement, and meaning. It's not, I want to be successful, but I will build financial stability by saving a specific amount every month. It's not, I want to be healthy, but I will walk 5 kilometers every morning before breakfast. The difference lies in clarity. When you know exactly what you want, your mind organizes itself around that vision. You stop wasting energy on confusion and start building momentum toward what matters. Clarity creates focus, and focus creates results. Life becomes simpler when you have clear goals, because every decision can be measured against your vision. Does this action move me closer to my goal, or does it distract me? The moment you start asking that question, your priorities shift. You begin to spend time with purpose instead of habit. You invest your energy in what brings progress instead of temporary comfort. Every small intentional decision becomes a brick in the structure of your success. But goals alone are not enough. They require consistent daily progress. Many people set grand intentions only to give up when the excitement fades. The truth is that consistency beats intensity every time. A single day of perfect effort means nothing compared to months of steady, focused work. Real success is built through daily habits that move you one step closer to your goal. It is not the giant leap that changes your life. It is the small, repeated effort that builds unshakable strength. Progress requires discipline, but it also requires patience. The modern world celebrates instant results, yet true transformation takes time. Growth happens slowly, often unnoticed, but every day of consistent effort compounds. The person who commits to daily improvement will always outgrow the one who waits for motivation. Discipline is what keeps you moving when enthusiasm fades. When you learn to act because it's necessary, not because you feel like it, you become unstoppable. To stay consistent, create a simple plan that aligns with your goal. Break big ambitions into smaller, achievable steps. If you want to master a skill, dedicate focused time every day. If you want to grow financially, manage your spending and build new habits of saving and learning. The key is to make progress measurable. When you can see your advancement, even in small ways, it fuels your motivation. Small wins build momentum, and momentum builds belief. Belief is vital because progress is not always visible right away. Some days your efforts will seem unnoticed. You will question whether your discipline matters, but unseen progress is still progress. Just like seeds grow beneath the soil before they break through the surface, your actions are forming results that will reveal themselves in time. The moment you give up, you interrupt that process. Patience allows your effort to mature into achievement. Accountability strengthens commitment. When you tell yourself what you intend to do, make it a promise, not a suggestion. Treat your goals like sacred commitments, not casual interests. Write them down, read them often, remind yourself daily why you started. When you define your goals in writing, they become tangible. They stop being ideas and start becoming instructions for your mind. The act of writing transforms your thoughts into structure, and structure leads to consistency. Another key to staying committed is to review your progress regularly. Reflection keeps you aware of your direction. Once a week, take time to ask yourself what went well, what needs adjustment, and what you'll focus on next. This simple habit keeps your growth intentional. Without reflection, it's easy to drift back into old patterns. With it, you stay connected to your vision and aware of your progress. Distractions are one of the biggest threats to progress. Modern life constantly pulls attention in every direction, but focus is your greatest advantage. Protect it. Turn off what steals your time. Create an environment that supports your goals rather than competes with them. Every notification, every meaningless conversation, every wasted hour takes energy from your progress. Success requires not just adding the right habits, but removing the wrong ones. The clearer your priorities, the easier it becomes to say no to everything else. Emotional balance is another essential element. Pursuing goals is not always smooth. There will be days of frustration, moments of doubt, and times when results seem far away. These are the tests that separate temporary effort from true commitment. The goal is not just to move forward when life feels easy, but to keep moving even when it feels hard. When discouragement comes, return to your why. Remind yourself of the reason behind your goal, the deeper purpose that gives your actions meaning. Purpose turns discipline into devotion. To sustain progress, make growth enjoyable. Many people treat discipline as punishment, but it can become something you look forward to when you connect it with your growth. Notice how good it feels to keep a promise to yourself. Recognize how much stronger you feel when you stay consistent. Each day of progress builds pride, and that pride fuels even more action. Success becomes a cycle of reinforcement. Effort leads to growth, growth leads to confidence, and confidence leads to even greater effort. Surrounding yourself with the right influences also supports your progress. Spend time with people who are moving forward in their own lives. Their discipline, attitude, and energy will inspire you to keep going. Distance yourself from those who constantly complain or discourage ambition. The environment you live in can either strengthen or weaken your commitment. Choose one that fuels your determination. One of the most powerful habits for daily progress is starting your day with intention. Before you engage with the noise of the world, spend a few moments in silence and remind yourself of your goals. Visualize the kind of person you want to be that day. Decide what actions will bring you closer to your vision. When you begin your day with clarity, you carry that sense of purpose into every decision. Morning focus creates daily alignment. Equally important is ending your day with reflection. Each evening, ask yourself, did I honor my goals today? Did I give my best effort? Did I make progress, even in small ways? These quiet questions keep you accountable and grounded. They remind you that each day counts. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to be persistent. Every day that you take a step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Another part of goal setting is flexibility. Life will not always move according to plan. Unexpected events will test your patience and adaptability. True commitment does not mean clinging rigidly to one path. It means staying loyal to your purpose while being open to new strategies. Sometimes a change in method is not failure but wisdom. Adaptation keeps progress alive. Those who adjust grow stronger, while those who resist change stay stuck. Avoid comparing your progress to others. Everyone's timeline is different. Focus on your own path and measure yourself only against who you were yesterday. Comparison creates frustration and drains motivation. Your progress may seem small compared to others, but consistency will eventually separate you from the rest. The person who quietly improves each day surpasses the one who tries to rush everything at once. Above all, remember that setting goals is not about pressure, it's about purpose. It's not about forcing yourself to chase perfection, but about guiding your energy toward growth. The journey of progress builds character as much as it builds results. Every step forward develops patience, focus, and resilience. You grow not only in achievement but in wisdom. There is a quiet confidence that comes from living intentionally. When you wake up each day knowing exactly what you're working toward, life feels lighter and more meaningful. You stop drifting through time and start shaping it. Each sunrise becomes an opportunity to advance, to build, to improve. You stop chasing success and start becoming it. In the end, setting clear goals and committing to daily progress is not just a method for success, it is a philosophy for life. It teaches you that control comes from clarity, growth comes from discipline, and fulfillment comes from consistent effort. It transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary by turning every day into a step toward your vision. When you live this way, time becomes your ally, and progress becomes inevitable. You no longer wait for change, you create it, one deliberate day at a time.
Chapter 3. Build self-discipline and stay consistent with your vision. The distance between who you are and who you want to be is measured by your discipline. Talent may open doors, motivation may ignite action, but only discipline keeps you moving when everything inside you wants to stop. It is the quiet force that separates wishful thinking from achievement, the invisible muscle that turns plans into progress. Without discipline, even the best intentions fade, but when discipline becomes part of your identity, success becomes inevitable because your actions are no longer controlled by emotion, they are guided by commitment. Self-discipline is not about harsh restriction or punishment, it is the art of self-respect in motion. It means choosing what serves your long-term growth over what offers short-term pleasure. Every time you do what needs to be done instead of what feels easy, you strengthen the foundation of your character. Discipline is the silent agreement between you and your vision that says, I will not give up, no matter how I feel today. Feelings change, but commitment must remain constant. Consistency is the companion of discipline. You cannot claim discipline if you only act when you feel inspired. The true test is in the moments when you are tired, uninspired or uncertain, yet you still move forward. Many people begin strong but lose momentum when progress slows. They confuse discipline with motivation, not realizing that motivation fades while discipline endures. When you rely solely on feeling good to take action, you give power to your mood instead of your purpose. Discipline removes that dependency. It teaches you to act because it is necessary, not because it is easy. To build discipline, start by mastering small decisions. Discipline grows through repetition, just like any muscle. When you keep small promises to yourself, waking up on time, completing a task you planned, following through on commitments, you strengthen your ability to stay consistent with larger goals. The small victories matter because they train your mind to associate action with progress. Each time you follow through, your self-respect deepens and your belief in yourself expands. It's important to understand that discipline is not built overnight. It's a gradual process shaped by persistence and patience. Some days you will succeed, other days you may slip, but the key is to never allow one setback to become a habit of quitting. Discipline thrives in self-awareness, not self-criticism. When you stumble, learn, adjust, and continue. What destroys progress is not failure, it's the decision to stop trying after failure. One way to stay consistent with your vision is to simplify your focus. When your mind is pulled in too many directions, your energy becomes scattered. Choose a few important priorities and dedicate yourself fully to them.
Discipline is most effective when applied to what truly matters. Spreading your attention too thin dilutes your strength. Concentration amplifies it. Ask yourself daily, what action today aligns with my ultimate vision? Then do it with full attention and effort, even if it's small. Over time, these focused actions build extraordinary results. Discipline requires structure. Create routines that support your goals. When your actions are organized, your mind is freed from the chaos of constant decision-making. Routine is not limitation, it is liberation. It removes the friction between intention and execution. For example, if your vision involves health, schedule your workouts instead of waiting for free time. If your goal involves learning, set a specific time for study and protect it from distraction. Consistency comes from designing your environment to make success easier and excuses harder. Another essential part of discipline is learning to manage your impulses. Every day you will face choices between instant comfort and long-term benefit. The disciplined mind knows the value of delaying gratification. It understands that the satisfaction of progress lasts far longer than the pleasure of avoidance. Each time you resist the urge to give in to laziness, distraction, or doubt, you reclaim control over your life. Freedom is not doing whatever you want, it is having mastery over your own choices. To remain consistent with your vision, you must also guard your mental state. Doubt, fear, and discouragement can weaken your resolve if you let them grow unchecked. Discipline begins in the mind. The way you think determines the way you act. Replace excuses with ownership. Replace hesitation with action. When the mind learns to obey intention instead of emotion, consistency becomes natural. You stop negotiating with yourself and start honoring your word as law. Progress requires endurance, and endurance comes from purpose. You will not stay disciplined for something you do not deeply care about. Connect emotionally with your vision. Understand why it matters. Picture the life you're building, the person you're becoming, and the freedom that comes with self-mastery. When your reason is strong, resistance weakens. Purpose is the fuel that keeps discipline alive through difficulty. Without it, even the strongest start will fade into inconsistency. Eliminating distractions is another act of discipline. The modern world offers endless comfort and constant stimulation, but none of it leads to fulfillment. Every minute lost to distraction is a minute stolen from your purpose. Train yourself to focus deeply. Disconnect from what adds noise but no value. The disciplined person knows how to say no. No to time wasting, no to negative influence, and no to the temptation of mediocrity. Each no creates space for the yes that truly matters. Accountability keeps discipline alive. When you hold yourself responsible, excuses lose their power. Be honest about your progress. Track your habits. Measure your consistency. It's easy to convince yourself that you're trying, but discipline requires evidence of effort. The mirror never lies. You know when you gave your best and when you didn't. Take ownership of your results without judgment. Every honest reflection leads to improvement. Consistency also demands recovery. Discipline is not about burning yourself out. It's about sustainable effort. Rest is not laziness, it's preparation. The disciplined person understands balance. They know when to push and when to recharge. Without rest, discipline turns into exhaustion, and exhaustion breeds inconsistency. The goal is not perfection, but progress that lasts. Taking care of your mind and body ensures that your strength remains steady for the long journey ahead. Discipline flourishes when you honor time. Time is the one resource that can never be replaced, yet most people treat it carelessly. The disciplined person sees every day as a gift to be used with intention. They do not waste hours waiting for the perfect moment. They create it by acting now. Consistency is not built tomorrow, it is built in today's choices. Every day used wisely compounds into a future of achievement. One of the deepest lessons of discipline is learning to stay faithful to your vision, even when results are invisible. The early stages of any goal often bring little reward. Effort feels high and progress feels low. This is where most people quit. But the disciplined individual understands that visible results are only the surface of hidden growth. Beneath every small effort lies a layer of development, mental, emotional, and spiritual, that prepares you for the breakthroughs ahead. Consistency keeps you on the path long enough to witness what persistence creates. Self-discipline is also a form of self-love. It is the decision to act in the best interest of your future self, even when your present self seeks comfort. When you choose discipline, you are telling yourself that your dreams are worth the effort, that your future deserves your attention, and that you are capable of becoming more than you were yesterday. Every disciplined act is an expression of belief in your potential. There will be moments when you want to give up, when you question whether the effort is worth it. In those moments, remember that every great achievement is born from ordinary persistence. Those who achieve extraordinary things are not necessarily more talented or lucky, they are simply more consistent. They show up on the days when others stop. They endure the boredom of repetition because they know that mastery is hidden inside the routine. Staying consistent with your vision means protecting it from doubt, distraction, and delay. It means living in alignment with your purpose even when no one is watching. It means doing the work quietly, faithfully, until the results speak for you. Success is not a single act. It is the echo of thousands of disciplined moments that compound into greatness. In the end, discipline is the bridge that carries your vision from imagination to reality. It is the habit of doing what must be done, the courage to stay on course, and the patience to wait for results without losing faith. The person who masters discipline becomes unstoppable, because nothing external can dictate their pace. They live with direction, act with purpose, and rise with consistency. When discipline becomes your way of life, your vision stops being a dream. It becomes your destiny, built one deliberate action at a time.
Chapter 4. Develop a strong mindset that refuses to give up. True strength is not measured by how much you can lift, but by how much you can endure without breaking your spirit. Every great person you admire has one thing in common: they refuse to give up when everything around them told them to stop. Life will test you, it will push you to the edge, sometimes even make you question your worth. But a strong mindset isn't about avoiding those moments, it's about standing firm in them. It's about knowing that your current challenge is not your final destination, but a necessary part of your evolution. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't luck or talent, it's the ability to keep going when it feels like you can't. When you decide to develop a mindset that refuses to give up, you are building a foundation that nothing can shake. This kind of strength is quiet. It doesn't boast. It doesn't seek attention. It just persists. It wakes up every morning with determination, even when tired. It faces fear without bowing to it. It moves forward, inch by inch if necessary, because it understands that consistency always beats intensity. The person who keeps showing up, who keeps trying, who keeps learning even after falling, becomes unstoppable. You cannot defeat someone who never quits. Developing this mindset begins with acceptance, accepting that pain, struggle, and delay are all part of growth. Too many people quit because they mistake discomfort for failure. They think that if something is hard, it must not be meant for them. But the truth is, everything meaningful in life requires effort. Growth is uncomfortable because it asks you to leave behind who you were. It demands patience, endurance, and mental strength. A strong mindset embraces the challenge instead of avoiding it. It says, I will find a way, even if I have to build one. That single decision to keep going despite uncertainty is the birth of resilience. When things go wrong, as they often will, the weak mind asks, why me? The strong mind asks, what can I learn? This shift in perspective changes everything. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim, you begin to see yourself as a creator of your future. You realize that the situation may not be your choice, but your reaction always is. That's where your power lies. Strength doesn't come from having a perfect life. It comes from facing imperfections with courage. It comes from getting knocked down and standing back up one more time than you fall. To build this kind of mindset, start with your thoughts. What you think determines what you do, and what you do determines who you become. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, replace it. When you hear that inner voice say, I can't, respond with, I'll find a way. When it whispers, it's too late, remind yourself, it's never too late to start again. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant grows. If you feed it doubt, you'll harvest fear. If you feed it discipline, patience, and persistence, you'll grow strength. You are in charge of your mental environment. Protect it fiercely. Consistency is another pillar of mental toughness. Many people start with enthusiasm, but fade when results take time. They want quick success, instant gratification, immediate recognition, but nothing great is built overnight. The strong mind understands that progress is slow and that real change requires time. It's okay if it takes longer than you expected. What matters is that you're still moving forward. Even small steps, taken consistently, lead to massive results.
The mind that refuses to give up knows that effort compounds. What seems small today becomes powerful tomorrow. Another key to a strong mindset is emotional control. Life will not always go as planned. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will shift. The strong mind doesn't waste energy reacting emotionally to every obstacle. It observes, adjusts, and moves forward. It doesn't allow frustration to dictate action. Instead, it learns to pause, breathe, and respond with clarity. Self-control is a sign of true power. When you can remain calm in chaos, you gain an advantage most people never have. Many quit because they wait for motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline, however, is constant. The strong mind acts even when it doesn't feel like it. It does what needs to be done, whether or not the mood is right. When you train your mind to follow through on your commitments, you build self-trust. You begin to believe in your ability to handle whatever comes. That belief is priceless. It becomes your shield against discouragement. Failure is not the end, it's feedback. Every failure contains a lesson that can make you stronger if you're willing to see it. The people who refuse to give up don't avoid failure, they use it. They analyze what went wrong, make adjustments, and return wiser. They understand that every setback carries information for future success. That's why failure doesn't define them, it refines them. The weak mind stops at failure, the strong mind studies it and grows beyond it. Surrounding yourself with positive influence also strengthens your mindset. When you spend time with people who constantly complain, doubt, or settle, their energy infects your thinking. Protect your focus by choosing your environment carefully. Seek out people who inspire discipline, perseverance, and growth. Listen to those who challenge you to rise higher, not those who encourage you to stay comfortable. You become like the company you keep, so choose wisely. There will be moments when you feel like everything is against you, when progress is invisible, when you're tired of trying, when your efforts seem to go unnoticed. These are the moments that build your character. This is where mental strength is forged. When you persist through these periods, something powerful happens inside you. You develop quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't depend on approval or applause. You begin to trust your ability to overcome anything. And once that belief takes root, you become unshakable. The mind that refuses to give up also understands the importance of purpose. When you have a clear why, you can endure almost any how. If you know what you're fighting for, the obstacles lose their power. Your purpose gives you direction when motivation fades. It reminds you why you started when the road feels endless. So take time to define your purpose. What drives you? What matters deeply enough that you'll fight for it no matter what? Once you answer that, hold on to it tightly. It will keep you going when everything else tells you to stop. Strength also grows from self-awareness. The strong mind doesn't deny weakness. It acknowledges it and works on it. It doesn't pretend to be fearless. It acts despite fear. Self-awareness allows you to see your patterns and change them. It helps you recognize when your thoughts are limiting you and gives you the power to shift them. You cannot master what you refuse to face. The more you understand yourself, the more power you gain over your reactions and decisions. In difficult times, remind yourself that you've survived worse. You've been through pain, disappointment, and uncertainty before, and you're still here. That means you are stronger than you think. The mind loves to exaggerate danger, but the truth is, you are built to handle more than you realize. Every hardship you've endured has prepared you for the next challenge. The strength you seek is already within you. It just needs to be awakened through action. Never let temporary defeat make you believe that your effort is meaningless. Every step forward, no matter how small, counts. The strong mindset is not about winning all the time. It's about refusing to surrender. It's about showing up again and again, even when you don't see results. It's about believing that your persistence will eventually create the outcome you desire. And it will, because life always rewards those who stay the course. When you commit to building a mind that never gives up, you are declaring independence from your circumstances. You are saying, I will not be controlled by failure, fear, or doubt. That is true freedom. You begin to live with purpose, act with courage, and think with clarity. You no longer see challenges as enemies, but as opportunities to prove your strength. That shift changes everything. One day, you'll look back and realize that every difficult moment was shaping you into the person you were meant to become. Every obstacle was teaching you discipline, patience, and faith. Every fall was preparing you to stand taller. That is the gift of persistence. It transforms struggle into strength. So keep going, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because the moment you decide not to give up, the world begins to bend in your favor. and from that moment forward, nothing can stop you but you. Chapter 5. Transform negative thoughts into powerful positive action. The greatest transformation begins in the silence of your mind, where every thought has the power to either build your destiny or break your spirit. Your life is a reflection of what you continuously think about. If your mind is filled with fear, doubt, and negativity, your actions will mirror that. But when you learn to take control of your thoughts and turn negativity into purposeful energy, everything changes. You begin to act from strength instead of fear, from clarity instead of confusion, from confidence instead of hesitation. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, and the moment you decide to change how you think, you begin to change how you live. Negative thinking is not something that happens because you are weak. It's part of being human, but allowing those thoughts to dominate your life is a choice. You may not control what comes into your mind, but you control what stays there. When a negative thought enters, you have two options. You can let it grow roots and drain your energy, or you can confront it, question it, and replace it with something stronger. Every time you choose the second option, you are training your mind to serve you rather than sabotage you. It's easy to get trapped in cycles of negative thinking because the mind loves patterns. Once you start focusing on what's wrong, it begins to search for more evidence to support that view. You start to see problems everywhere, even where none exist. That's why awareness is the first step toward transformation. You cannot change what you don't recognize. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself throughout the day. Do your thoughts empower you or limit you? Do they push you forward or hold you back? Once you start noticing your internal dialogue, you can begin to take control of it. When you catch a negative thought, don't fight it, redirect it. Fighting it gives it more energy. Instead, calmly question it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Is it based on facts or fear? Does it move me closer to my goals or further away? By challenging your thoughts, you begin to separate reality from imagination. Most of our worries are predictions that never happen, and most of our fears are shadows created by the mind. When you expose them to the light of awareness, they lose their power. Once you become aware of negative thinking, the next step is action. Positive thinking alone isn't enough. You must turn it into behavior. Replace overthinking with movement. Instead of focusing on what you fear, take one small action toward what you want. Action interrupts negativity. It transforms mental energy into physical progress. Every time you act, despite self-doubt, you weaken the hold of negativity over your mind. You prove to yourself that you are stronger than your fears. When you take action, even small steps, you shift your focus from what's going wrong to what's within your control. You begin to see solutions where you once saw problems. That is how transformation begins, not by waiting for perfect conditions, but by using what you have right now. Many people waste their lives waiting to feel ready, but the truth is, clarity comes from doing, not from thinking. Every positive action you take becomes a message to your subconscious mind that you are capable, that you are moving forward, that you are in charge. The mind cannot hold two opposite thoughts at the same time. You cannot think gratitude and resentment simultaneously. You cannot think confidence and fear at the same moment. That's why replacing negativity with something positive is so powerful. When you feel fear, think of what you're grateful for. When you feel doubt, remind yourself of what you've already overcome. Gratitude is one of the most effective ways to shift your focus instantly. It grounds you in the present moment and reminds you that, despite challenges, there is still good in your life. The more you focus on what's good, the more good you begin to notice. Transforming negative thoughts also requires compassion toward yourself. You can't build a positive life while speaking to yourself like an enemy. Many people punish themselves mentally for every mistake, every imperfection, every flaw, but self-criticism doesn't create growth, it creates paralysis. You cannot rise while tearing yourself down. Instead, practice self-respect. Speak to yourself with honesty, but also with kindness. Encourage yourself the way you would encourage a friend going through a hard time. When you learn to treat yourself with compassion, your mind becomes a place of strength instead of judgment. Another way to turn negative thoughts into positive action is through purpose. When your life has direction, negativity loses its grip. A clear purpose gives your energy a channel. It helps you see challenges as part of the journey rather than personal attacks. When you wake up with a reason to grow, to serve, to create, you stop wasting time dwelling on what's wrong. Purpose gives your pain meaning, and meaning gives you strength. Even the hardest days feel bearable when you know what you're fighting for. Surroundings play a huge role in shaping your mindset. If you spend your days around people who constantly complain, criticize, and gossip, you will start to mirror that energy. But when you spend time with people who inspire growth, positivity becomes natural. Energy is contagious, and your environment is either feeding your strength or draining it. Protect your mind by choosing what and who you allow into your space. Feed your thoughts with good books, motivating conversations, and uplifting environments. The mind becomes what it consumes, so consume wisely. The way you start your day also determines how your mind functions. If you begin each morning scrolling through bad news or comparing your life to others online, negativity will take hold before you even begin. But if you start with gratitude, reflection, or movement, you set the tone for the day. Train your mind every morning by directing your focus. Write down 3 things you're thankful for, or take 5 minutes to breathe deeply and center your thoughts. These small practices reprogram your mind to seek positivity instead of reacting to negativity. It's important to understand that positivity is not pretending everything is perfect. It's about seeing reality clearly, but choosing to respond with strength instead of fear. It's not denial, it's direction. A positive mind still feels pain, still faces loss, still experiences setbacks. The difference is that it doesn't stay stuck there. It acknowledges the difficulty but looks for the lesson. It understands that pain is temporary and that growth often comes disguised as struggle. The strongest people you'll ever meet aren't those who never think negatively. They are those who have learned to transform negativity into wisdom, action, and growth. They've learned to use what once held them back as fuel to move forward. When life gives them a setback, they turn it into a setup for something greater. They understand that every thought is a choice, and every choice shapes the direction of their future. To strengthen your mind, practice this daily. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, pause and ask, what's one action I can take right now to move forward? Don't aim to eliminate all negative thoughts. Aim to master your reaction to them. Because power lies in response, not reaction. The more you practice this, the quicker you'll bounce back from stress, disappointment, or fear. Your thoughts may try to pull you down, but your awareness and action will lift you higher. Over time, this process becomes automatic. You'll begin to see challenges differently. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? You'll start thinking, what is this teaching me? You'll stop feeling powerless and start feeling capable. You'll stop waiting for external validation and begin relying on your own mindset to guide you. This is when you truly become unstoppable, when your mind becomes your ally instead of your enemy. Transformation is not about removing darkness, but learning how to use it to find light. Your negative thoughts are not your downfall. They are your training ground. Each one offers a chance to practice awareness, strength, and resilience. Every time you turn doubt into effort, fear into movement, pain into purpose, you evolve. You create a life driven by choice rather than reaction. So when negativity whispers in your ear that you're not enough, remember that your thoughts don't define you, your actions do. You can feel fear and still act bravely. You can feel doubt and still move forward. You can experience negativity and still choose growth. That choice is your power. That choice is what turns an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. And every time you make it, you become stronger, clearer, and more capable of creating the life you truly deserve.
Chapter 6. Surround yourself with people who uplift your growth. The people around you shape your future more than you realize. No one grows in isolation, and no one succeeds surrounded by the wrong energy. Every person in your life is either building you or breaking you, lifting you higher or pulling you down. When you decide to surround yourself with people who uplift your growth, everything in your life begins to shift: your mindset, your habits, your motivation, and even your sense of purpose. You start to think bigger, act stronger, and believe deeper in what's possible. The company you keep defines the direction you take, and if you want to rise, you must walk with those who push you to become more. Many people stay stuck not because they lack ability, but because they're trapped in an environment that doesn't support their evolution. You cannot expect to grow while surrounded by those who are comfortable staying the same. You can't speak of dreams around those who only talk about problems. You can't discuss goals with people who've given up on theirs. The energy of your circle influences the quality of your thoughts.
If you are constantly around negativity, you will start to see the world through the same lens. But when you surround yourself with positive, driven, and growth-minded individuals, you begin to mirror their confidence and determination. Every great transformation starts with a decision to raise your standards, not only for yourself but also for the company you keep. It's not about judging others or feeling superior. It's about protecting your peace and nurturing your potential. You cannot build a high-rise life on a weak foundation of toxic relationships. The people you spend time with either water your roots or poison your soil. Choose those who make you feel capable, who challenge you to improve, who remind you of your worth when you forget it. These are the people who help you see beyond your current circumstances and remind you of what you're capable of becoming. The truth is, energy is contagious. Spend time with ambitious people and you'll find yourself setting higher goals. Spend time with kind people and you'll start to treat others with more compassion. Spend time with disciplined people and you'll begin to value consistency. You unconsciously absorb the habits, beliefs, and emotions of those around you. That's why it's critical to be intentional about your environment. Ask yourself, do the people in my life make me feel inspired or drained? Do they encourage my growth or feed my doubts? Do they celebrate my progress or compete against it? The answers will tell you everything you need to know. Sometimes the hardest part of growth is realizing that not everyone will grow with you. People who once fit into your life may no longer align with your direction. It doesn't mean they're bad, it means you're changing. As you evolve, your energy shifts, your priorities mature, and your focus sharpens. You begin to crave conversations that nourish your mind, not gossip that wastes your time. You start to value authenticity over popularity, growth over comfort, and purpose over distraction. This evolution naturally creates distance between you and those who are not on the same path. Don't fight it. Growth often requires space. When you surround yourself with people who uplift your growth, you enter an environment where accountability becomes natural. These people won't let you settle for less than your best. They'll remind you of your goals when you lose focus, and they'll expect you to do the same for them. In such a circle, growth is mutual. Everyone pushes each other to rise higher, not through competition but through encouragement. They don't envy your success, they celebrate it, because your victory inspires theirs. This kind of support creates momentum. It fuels your confidence and keeps you moving forward, even when life gets heavy. But building this kind of circle requires courage and clarity. You must first decide what kind of energy you want to attract. You can't invite growth-minded people into your life if you're still entertaining negativity. The law of attraction applies to relationships too. You attract what you reflect. If you want loyal, disciplined, and encouraging people around you, start being one yourself. Be the kind of person others can trust. Be consistent in your values. Speak words that uplift. Show discipline in your actions. Growth attracts growth. When you operate with integrity and purpose, you naturally draw people who live the same way. Sometimes the right people don't enter your life immediately. You may go through a season of solitude where you feel disconnected or alone, but that solitude is sacred. It's where you strengthen your identity and prepare for better connections. It's where you learn to enjoy your own company, build self-respect, and understand what kind of relationships truly serve your peace. Many rush to fill loneliness with noise, but silence can be your greatest teacher. The time you spend alone helps you develop clarity about who you are and what kind of energy you will no longer tolerate. Then, when the right people come, you'll recognize them instantly. It's also important to remember that uplifting people aren't always the ones who make life easy. Sometimes they challenge you. They tell you hard truths you need to hear. They hold you accountable for your actions. They don't comfort your excuses. They confront them. Real support doesn't mean constant approval. It means genuine care for your growth. If someone pushes you to rise, don't mistake it for criticism. The best mentors, friends, and partners are those who refuse to let you stay small when they know you're capable of more. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift your growth also means distancing yourself from those who constantly bring you down. Some people live in negativity and try to pull everyone around them into it. They complain about everything, blame others for their problems, and resist change. Spending too much time with them drains your motivation. You don't have to hate them, but you do have to protect your peace. You can love people from a distance without allowing them to limit your future. Guard your energy the way you guard your health, because both determine your quality of life. As you begin to elevate your circle, you'll notice how your thinking expands. Conversations shift from small talk to meaningful discussion. Instead of gossiping about others, you begin sharing ideas, strategies, and goals. You start discussing solutions instead of problems. You'll find yourself surrounded by people who see opportunities where others see obstacles, who inspire you to act instead of complain. This shift in dialogue feeds your ambition and strengthens your discipline. It reminds you that growth is not a solo mission, it's a shared journey. The beauty of having uplifting people around you is that they remind you who you are when you forget. Life will test you with doubt, setbacks, and uncertainty, but the right people will not let you lose faith in yourself. They'll remind you of your strengths when you're focused on your weaknesses. They'll push you to keep going when you want to give up. They'll see potential in you that you may not yet see. Having even one person like this in your life can change everything, because encouragement has the power to reignite belief. But remember, to receive that kind of support, you must also be willing to give it. Be the person who celebrates others' progress. Be the one who encourages instead of criticizes, who listens instead of judges, who believes in others even when they doubt themselves. When you give genuine positivity, you create a network of shared strength. You become part of something greater than yourself, a collective force of growth and resilience. In the end, your circle determines your direction. If you want to achieve peace, success, and fulfillment, surround yourself with those who want the same. Spend time with people who make you think deeply, laugh freely, and act courageously. Seek mentors who challenge your limits. Value friends who speak truth even when it's hard. Keep only those who respect your time, energy, and dreams. Life is too short to waste it in spaces that make you feel small. Choose environments that remind you of your power, not your limitations. Your growth deserves protection. Your dreams deserve a supportive atmosphere. The right people will help you see possibilities in every challenge, will remind you of your purpose when you drift, and will celebrate your victories as if they were their own. When you surround yourself with such souls, you begin to rise effortlessly. You no longer need to push so hard because your environment is pushing with you. Together you create momentum that nothing can stop. That is the power of being surrounded by people who uplift your growth. Your potential expands, your spirit strengthens, and your path becomes clear. Chapter 7. Learn from every failure and rise with confidence. Every failure carries a hidden message, but only those who refuse to stay down ever hear it. When you fall, the world watches what you'll do next, not to judge you, but to see whether you'll prove that strength still lives within you. Failure isn't the end. It's the beginning of understanding who you really are. Every setback is a test of character, and those who rise after losing everything discover that the power they were searching for has been inside them all along. You see, life was never meant to be a straight path to success. It's meant to humble you, to stretch you, to build within you the mindset of someone who can handle victory when it finally arrives. When you fail, it's easy to let shame take over, to feel like you're not enough, or that maybe you were never meant to win. But that thought alone destroys more dreams than failure itself ever could. The truth is, every person who achieved something great once stood exactly where you are now, hurt, uncertain, questioning if they had what it takes. The only difference between those who remain broken and those who rise again is a decision. The decision to believe that this moment doesn't define you. What defines you is what you choose to do next. When you rise with confidence, you teach your mind that setbacks are not punishments, they are preparation. They are not the world rejecting you, they are the universe redirecting you. Each mistake carries a lesson that success could never teach. You learn patience, humility, creativity, and resilience. You learn to separate your worth from your results. You learn to keep going, even when applause turns into silence. That's where true strength is born, in those quiet moments when no one believes in you, but you refuse to give up anyway. Confidence after failure isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about facing your reality with courage and saying, "This is where I am, but it's not where I'll stay." You start to rebuild yourself piece by piece. You analyze what went wrong, not to criticize yourself, but to understand what needs to be improved. You begin to see that losing something doesn't mean you've lost everything. It just means you're being refined, reshaped, and prepared for something greater. The most powerful people in the world are not those who never fail. They are those who never let failure change how they see themselves. You must protect your self-image, even when life tries to destroy it. Remind yourself that one event does not erase your potential. One mistake does not define your destiny. You can begin again, and when you do, you carry with you the wisdom of experience. Every time you rise stronger, wiser, and more aware of your capabilities. Most people give up because they think the pain will last forever. But pain is temporary. It teaches you what comfort never could. If you give up, you stay in the same place. If you push through, you enter a new version of yourself. The one who has learned how to adapt, how to think clearly in chaos, how to move forward with faith, even when the outcome is uncertain. That's the mindset that wins in the long run. The mindset that says, I may not control everything, but I control how I respond. When life knocks you down, don't rush to stand up. Take a moment to breathe. Reflect on what happened. Let the lesson sink in. Then when you rise, do it with a plan. Ask yourself what can be done differently next time. Surround yourself with those who remind you of your worth, not those who feed your doubts. Write down what failure taught you. Maybe it revealed a weakness, a blind spot, or a lack of discipline, but that's not something to regret. It's something to fix. Every failure brings clarity, and clarity is power. People often fear failure because they link it with embarrassment or loss, but failure is not about losing, it's about learning. Every time you fail, you are collecting data about what doesn't work, which brings you one step closer to what does. The ones who succeed are not necessarily smarter, they are simply more consistent in applying what they've learned. They don't let emotions paralyze them. They use emotion as fuel. They take responsibility. They adjust their methods, and they keep going. The moment you stop running from failure and start learning from it, your entire relationship with life changes. You no longer fear trying new things because you understand that failure won't destroy you, it will shape you. Confidence doesn't come from avoiding mistakes, it comes from surviving them. You start to see that your value was never tied to being perfect, it was always tied to your ability to grow. Let your failures remind you that you are human, but let your comeback prove that you are unstoppable. Each time you rise, you create evidence for your future self that you can endure. That memory becomes your strength. The next time you face a storm, the more times you rise, the easier it becomes. You begin to trust your ability to recover. That's when confidence becomes unshakable, not because everything goes right, but because you know how to handle it when things go wrong. If you look closely, every failure leaves behind a trail of opportunity. Sometimes it's a new direction, a new perspective, or a new connection. Sometimes it's just the courage to start again, this time wiser. But you have to be willing to look. You have to train your mind to find the value instead of the pain. That's how people turn their lowest points into turning points. And remember this, you have failed before and survived. You've been through pain, disappointment, rejection, and still you're here. That alone proves your resilience. So the next time you fall, don't question your strength. Remind yourself that you've already overcome worse. Rise with that certainty. Rise with the knowledge that failure does not destroy those who learn from it. It forges them. You can rebuild your life from the ground up if you refuse to stay defeated. You can start again not from zero, but from experience. You can rise not as the same person who fell, but as the one who now understands what it takes. Every great success story is a story of resilience, and yours can be too. All it takes is the courage to believe that no fall is final. So when life pushes you down, stand tall with calm determination. Let your actions speak louder than your pain. Let your growth become your response. Learn from every failure. Rise with confidence and show the world that your spirit cannot be broken, because true power doesn't come from never falling. It comes from rising again and again until failure no longer has the power to stop you. Chapter 8. Practice gratitude daily and attract more good into life. Gratitude is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. The moment you start appreciating what you already have, your energy shifts and life begins to open new doors that once seemed locked. Most people spend their days chasing what's missing, believing happiness lives somewhere in the future. But the truth is, everything you need to feel fulfilled is already within reach. It only needs your attention. When you learn to see the value in the simple things, you attract more reasons to be thankful. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into blessings, challenges into lessons, and chaos into clarity. Every morning you wake up, you're given another chance to live, to grow, to love, to create, and that alone is worth appreciating. Many people overlook this gift because they're focused on what didn't go right. They measure life by what's lacking, not realizing that this mindset quietly repels joy. Gratitude is more than just saying thank you. It's a way of seeing the world. It's training your mind to focus on abundance instead of scarcity, to look for the good even when life feels heavy. When you start practicing gratitude daily, something powerful happens. You begin to notice how much you've already accomplished, how many moments of love and support you've already experienced. You realize that even in difficult times, there were blessings hidden in disguise. Maybe someone showed up when you needed them most. Maybe you learned something that made you stronger. Maybe you survived something that could have broken you. Gratitude helps you see that your life has been full of quiet miracles that were easy to miss when you were focused only on struggle. Each day, take a few moments to reflect, not on what's wrong, but on what's right. Think about the people who care for you, the opportunities you have, the lessons you've learned. Write them down. Speak them out loud. The more you express gratitude, the more you reprogram your mind to look for the positive. You'll start noticing details you once ignored: the warmth of sunlight, the laughter of a friend, the food on your table, the peace of your own space. These small recognitions create a sense of richness that money can't buy. And here's the truth: when you live with gratitude, you become magnetic. People feel your energy. Opportunities are drawn to you. Life responds to the frequency you give out. Gratitude raises that frequency higher than any other emotion because it aligns you with appreciation, peace, and love. You stop competing, comparing, or complaining. Instead, you start radiating calm confidence, knowing that more good will come because you're already thankful for what is. This isn't blind optimism, it's wisdom. Gratitude teaches you to trust that even when things aren't perfect, something valuable is unfolding beneath the surface. There will be times when being grateful feels difficult: pain, loss, disappointment. These moments test your ability to see light in darkness, but those are the times gratitude matters most. It's easy to be thankful when life is smooth. It's powerful when you can still say thank you in the middle of chaos. When you look back later, you'll see that those moments were shaping you in ways you couldn't yet understand. Gratitude in hard times doesn't ignore reality. It acknowledges that pain can bring growth, endings can bring new beginnings, and closed doors can lead to better ones. When you practice gratitude, you stop waiting for happiness to appear and start creating it. Happiness is not something you find, it's something you feel when you choose to focus on what's right. People often say, "I'll be happy when things get better," but things get better when you start being happy now. Gratitude rewires your perspective so that even the smallest improvement feels meaningful, and when you appreciate progress, you attract more progress. When you value the lessons, you gain more wisdom. When you honor what you have, life entrusts you with more to care for. Gratitude also deepens your relationships. When you express genuine appreciation for people, their time, their kindness, their presence, you strengthen the bond between you. Everyone wants to feel valued. When you thank someone sincerely, you remind them that they matter. Gratitude creates warmth that lingers beyond words. It dissolves resentment, heals tension, and replaces criticism with understanding. Imagine how different your days would feel if gratitude guided your conversations instead of frustration. Another powerful thing about gratitude is how it changes your inner state. It quiets anxiety, softens anger, and brings peace to your heart. It reminds you that even when life isn't perfect, you still have enough to keep going. When you're grateful, you stop taking things personally. You see each moment as part of a greater story unfolding for your growth. You stop chasing control and start embracing trust. That trust is what allows peace to enter your life, not because everything is easy, but because you know you can handle it with grace. To attract more good into your life, you have to create space for it, and gratitude is what clears that space. When you focus only on what's wrong, you fill your mind with worry, fear, and lack. But when you focus on what's right, you open the door for new blessings to enter. Gratitude and abundance go hand in hand. You cannot feel poor when you are deeply thankful. You cannot feel hopeless when you are focused on what's working. You cannot feel empty when you recognize how full your life already is. If you want to shift your energy fast, stop and name 3 things you're grateful for right now. Do it often, when you wake up, before you sleep, when you feel frustrated. It might seem small, but that habit has the power to change how you see everything. Soon you'll find yourself calmer, more focused and more inspired. Gratitude doesn't erase problems. It gives you the strength and perspective to solve them. Even science agrees. People who practice gratitude daily experience less stress, better sleep, and stronger emotional resilience. But beyond science, it's about the way gratitude reconnects you to life. It grounds you. It reminds you that you're not running out of time. You're living it. You're not waiting for blessings. You're surrounded by them. You just have to look closer. So take a moment every day to pause, breathe, and acknowledge your blessings. Say thank you, not only when things go right, but also when things challenge you. Because every experience, good or bad, contributes to your evolution. Gratitude doesn't make life perfect, it makes it meaningful. It teaches you to celebrate progress, honor your journey, and trust that everything you need to attract more good is already inside you. You are not lacking, you are learning, you are not behind, you are becoming. And the more you focus on the good, the more good you will create. Gratitude is not just a practice, it's a lifestyle, a mindset, a daily choice to see beauty where others see nothing. So choose it today. Appreciate deeply, love openly, give generously, and watch your life transform in ways you never imagined possible.